It's an apology that came from Pastor Enoch Adeboye of Redeemed Church, Christian Church of God, just a few days ago.
Okay.
Apologizing for saying that from the pulpit to millions of people that if you don't give your tithe, you're not qualified to go to heaven. You're not going to make it to heaven. So now he's come out to apologize. And I was checking it out on social media, and some of the conversations around there, your name was trending, and some of the conversations around there was like, hey, no, you must go and apologize to Dr. Abel Damina. Have they tried to reach out to you in any way? Because they do owe you an apology.
I'm trying to stay away from that conversation.
No, we have to. We have to dwell around.
The truth of the matter is, when I first heard him say, if you don't pay your tithe, you will not go to heaven, full stop.
Yeah.
I screamed.
Wow.
I screamed from my pulpit. I said, I said, you people say we are attacking Christianity. You people say we are attacking the fathers. Okay, you people say we are preaching a gospel that make people sin because we say what Christ did was complete. And you have not yet called out somebody who said if you don't pay tithe, you will not make heaven. I think that's the first person you people should be calling out, which means tithe replaces Christ. The Bible says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, not whoever pays tithe. So I got loud on that, and people's eyes began to open.
Right.
So when he apologized, for me that was a step in the right direction. For me that was something, that was a statement that was very weighty, at least for whatever it's worth.
Yeah.
People are able to know that, okay, there is truth in what I said and other people have said concerning the tithe.
Yeah.
Tithe in no way is a prerequisite to anything in God.
Yeah.
In no way at all. Somebody said, what about Malachi chapter 3? Well, Malachi chapter 3 was not written to you. It was written to the priests who were receiving tithe, but they were not paying the tithe of tithe. So Malachi said, then you guys, you priests, you are cursed with a curse. It wasn't given to us. But even if it was given to the Christians, Galatians 3 eradicates Malachi. Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law. He made a curse for us, for it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on the tree, that the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles, that we might receive the promised Spirit through faith. Christ has sorted all that out. So that's why in the New Testament it says God loves a cheerful giver. The New Testament says, if a man giveth according to what he has, it is accepted. There are no hard rules on it. It's just generosity. And I always say this, when you see Jesus, money loses value. When you really see Jesus, Jesus is on a donkey to Jerusalem. And people saw Jesus on the donkey and began to bring out their jewelry, their gold, and they put it on the ground. Because you can't really see Jesus and money. You cannot serve God and mammon, but you can serve God with mammon. When you see Jesus and you see his love, you see what he has done for you, his grace, his mercy. You want to promote what he has done for you so other people can also benefit from it. So generosity is natural. I always say to people think I preach against giving. No, I preach against transaction.
Yes.
You cannot be a child of God and not be a giver. For God so loved the world that he gave. If it is in God's character to give, it means if you are born of God, in your DNA is the desire to give, but not manipulated giving, not fear-based giving, not transactional giving, but giving out of generosity, expecting nothing in return. Somebody says to me, so what is the benefit of my giving? The benefit of my giving is that when I give, what I gave for is done. If I gave for you to go to school, you went to school. That's my reward. That through my giving, you went to school. So the beneficiary of my giving is not me. The beneficiary of my giving is the person to whom I gave it to. And that's my reward for giving. So, and that is shifting the whole narrative. It's shifting it. And we're going to get more louder because that whole thing has to give way. Let me be honest with you. There are pastors in Africa. If you take giving money, tithing out of ministry, they will no more do ministry. I can tell you that for free. They will get out of ministry. Because some are in it as a business. They see that, okay, now, I am through with school, no jobs in the secular world, God has called me. Then they start their church without even sound Bible training. They begin to abuse scriptures, teach scriptures out of context, twist things around. Some will say, I'm a prophet, I'm beginning to see visions and all that, and they use that as a means of making money. Let me tell you this, Uncle Solomon, if I never came after the tithing and the transactional gospel, nobody will persecute me. Nobody will attack. The attacks really started when I started talking against the transactional gospel. That God is a father, he's not a businessman.
So why is that?
Because that is what many people are in it for. It's a whole industry.
A lot of your friends?
Well, my friends, some of them don't want to talk to me anymore, but I don't mind. They didn't call me. And when I leave this world, I'm not going to go to them.
And a lot of people that you know. Because, I
lost quite. But I made up my mind that I was ready to lose because Jesus said, if I am your Lord and I was persecuted, if you preach, you'll be persecuted. Now look at it. When I was preaching the transactional prosperity gospel, nobody persecuted me.
You were loved.
Everywhere. I mean, I can call names, all the big names.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with them.
Invite you
everywhere.
Come preach.
The moment I started preaching, Christ is enough. Christ is more than enough. The death, burial, and resurrection as my emphasis. Then persecution started coming. So which means I'm in the right path. Because if Christ was persecuted and I'm preaching and I'm persecuted, I must be. And I've said to preachers, if what you're preaching does not attract persecution, re-examine the content of your message.
You're throwing in too much there.
Yes. If it does not attract, if you're not persecuted for what you're preaching, you need to go back and re-examine the content of your message, because you can't be holier and better than Jesus. Jesus was persecuted. The 12, how did they die? Some of them were butchered, some of them for the gospel.
Crucified,
and then you
down.
are preaching gospel, and you're buying cars, jets, you're living big, you're having a good life, people love you, everywhere you are a star. Something doesn't add up.
No way.
Something doesn't add up. If they were persecuted for this same gospel, people died for this same gospel. Missionaries came to preach to us and died for this same gospel. The rich left their wealth to come and preach this same gospel. And you are preaching it right. These symptoms, all of these characteristics will be seen around you. Persecution, rejection, attacks, blackmails. People come out against you because Satan will not fold his hand and what you do in the right thing, he will attack. So if you're preaching, if you're a pastor or a man of God, or a woman of God, and I think if you're watching this broadcast, wherever you are, get more pastors, as many pastors, especially young pastors and believers who have been disgruntled, people that are put out of church. Let me tell you this, on my way to South Africa, I stopped by, somewhere because I did a connection flight. When I got in the lounge, a lady just saw me, walked to me and said, "Dr. Damina," and I said, "Yes." She may be watching this. She said, "I wish I listened to you before I left Christianity." I said, "I've just been telling my husband that I wish I listened to you before I left Christianity. I'm no more a Christian." I said, "Why?" She said, "These things you are preaching and exposing now were the things I questioned and nobody answered. So I felt Christianity is a hoax, is a scam." I left. But now, then I started listening to you. I'm not a Christian, but I don't stay away from listening. And I want to keep listening. And I want us to establish a contact. I'm a journalist, she said. And then I gave her my number. And then, we started chatting and all that. But the point is, I've come across many people. Uncle Solomon, I can tell you this for free. Many all over the world, even Muslims, who said, in Islam, we know that there's Christ, but we don't have teachings. So now we're hearing you teach Christ, Christ, Christ. We're interested. So we follow you because we want to really know about this Isa, this Christ. We want to learn of it. And a lot of them are following. And they say, I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm learning Christ from you. And people are coming, even traditional worshippers, even people that are called atheists. They are coming back to say, questions we asked in church and nobody answered. What you're preaching is answering my question, so I want to hear more. Because Jesus is the desire of all nations. All men seek him. And if we preach him well, the whole world will come to this knowledge.
The voice and presence of Dr. Abel Damina, the state of the African church, the damage caused by the prosperity gospel, the prophetic movement gospel, which have produced a lot of scammers. But today we call them apostles, prophets, bishops, sadly. We're here at the Rise Studios in Randburg, Johannesburg, South Africa. This is the end of the part 2. We'll move straight to the part 3 of this special interview. Join